Long, long ago, when the wheat was not separated from the chaff, the camels were brokers, fleas were barbers. You waited for the vines to grow grapes. I loaded logs by the river bank. When mother was in the spoon, father was in his cradle, and I used to rock his cradle to and from. Once there was, twice there wasn't. Once lived a poor boy who wanted to be a king. His name was Arda. Arda thought that if he was a king, he would have everything and wouldn't have to work. That everybody would do whatever he wanted them to do, and that he'd be rich. His mother was very sad knowing his son was thinking so. She said to her son, "Even kings have to work and study to make their people live in welfare through what they learn." She was saying these, but her child was not lending an ear to his mother. One day, when Ada was sitting beneath the olive tree without doing anything, a few olives fell over him. What did he see when he raised his head? A beautiful bird, which had beautiful feathers in a motley of colors, and eyes that shone like beads watching him. The child, who had never before seen a bird like this, was in awe of the bird. The beautiful bird spoke all of a sudden and asked the child, "Why are you sitting like this, doing nothing when your mother is out there working in the fields?" Ada was very surprised to see the beautiful bird speak, but then again he answered the bird, "I'm dreaming of becoming a king." The beautiful bird smiled at Ada and asked, "Why do you want to be a king?" Ada said, "If I become a king, everyone would do what I say and I would be rich." "It's hard for you to become rich if you lounge around like this," said the beautiful bird. Before Ada could give him an answer, the bird perched on his shoulder and went on, "Well then, I have to take you somewhere. Come with me." Suddenly, Ada found himself at the start of a road. The beautiful bird was still on Ada's shoulder. "Now I will take you through a city," said the bird. "This is a magnificent and beautiful city called Miletus." They went on their way, passing by the orchards, from the blossoms of which fragrant scents were wafting into the air. Endless wheat fields greeted them. When they came to the poppy fields, they saw all the hues of red. As they moved further ahead, all the fields suddenly turned to white. Cotton was growing tall. They saw the fig trees in the plains and olives on the mountain slopes. Ada was looking around him in awe, for he had not seen a city of such beauty and an abundance before. They moved towards the Miletus harbor. They saw magnificent ships. They saw the goods transported to other cities. There were many fish in the harbor, and they watched the fishermen who made a living from fishing. Arda became more and more enraptured with this city as he explored Miletus more. When they moved along, the theater greeted them. Arda sat on one of the steps of the theater and started watching the play that was being acted upon the stage at that moment. Wearing colorful costumes, the players were reciting the story of a farmer. They watched all together how a farmer indicted Meandros. Arda thought how nice it would have been to live in this city from which agriculture, commerce, philosophy, arts, and sciences overflowed. As he was lost in dreams, the beautiful bird found his tongue again. "Did you like the city of Miletus?" he asked. "Do you think the king who rules this country and his people would be sitting down and doing nothing in such a beautiful city?" Do you think only what the kings say are done in such a land? Arda thought a little bit. There were so many beautiful orchards, fields, and trees that he decided these could not all be so without any effort spent. However, his idea of kings, having it all without doing nothing, had not changed, and he expressed this to the beautiful bird. The beautiful bird looked at Arda and smiled. "Let me tell you a story," he said. "One day the king of kings, Zeus, and a poor Milesian had an argument about something in the city square. Both of them claimed that they were telling the truth. As neither of them took a step back, this dispute dragged on and on. Well, actually, it was nothing that was heard of before, that a poor man would be in dispute with a king. Finally, exercising the privilege of being a king, Zeus put an end to this dispute." Arda was very curious about how Zeus had ended the dispute. The beautiful bird went on. "Look at me. Don't make me more angry. I will send the lightning your way to burn you alive," said Zeus. Far from being afraid, the Milesian villager said quite calmly, "Great Zeus, your fury is enough proof that you are in the wrong," and laughed. Looking at the child, listening to him intently, the beautiful bird went on to tell the rest of the story. "In this beautiful city which we are exploring, there lived not only villagers who proved their king wrong, but also many wise and learned men." The child was surprised and asked, "What do you mean? Doesn't the king punish them?" Smiling, the bird went on to say, "There lives a famous scholar in the city called Thales. Let us continue with his tale then. Thales was not only interested in space and the sky, but also mathematics and trade. First, people were saying that because of his indulgence in the sciences, he was a poor man. However, based on his knowledge of the stars, he knew that year the olive harvest would be very good, and he gathered a small amount of capital with which he rented the priority rights of all the olive oil presses in Miletus with a down payment. Without any competitors, this was a pretty good bargain. Then, during the oil harvest, when the olive oil presses were high in demand, Thales rented them for the amount he so desired. In that way, he made a lot of money. With that, Thales proved that scientists could be rich, but that is not their life purpose. He forged ahead with his studies while he made use of his knowledge and did not actually do this to become rich. Arda had kept listening to what the beautiful bird was telling him attentively. Miletus has been the home of many scientists like Thales. Many philosophers as informed and still researching as Thales lived in Miletus. Now tell me, kid, in a city the king of which is uninformed and too lazy, would the scholars value the words of that king? Arda thought how right the beautiful bird was. He said to himself, "For a city to be beautiful, everybody has to work, the king included." He understood why the beautiful bird had brought him to Miletus. The beautiful bird smiled to the child once again and said, "It's now time to get back home." All of a sudden, Arda found himself underneath the olive tree in their field. He raised his head and looked at that tree. He searched for the beautiful bird in almost all of the branches of the olive tree. Understanding the bird was not there, he smiled. "Now I need to stop being lazy and get to work. To be safe from being poor, I need to do my research and think like the wise man of Miletus. Let a colorful bird perch on your hat to take you to beautiful lands. May the apples fall from the sky get doled out to those who read these tales eagerly.